There are numerous steps to the dye transfer process. The primary steps are the color separation negatives that are made and the final size positives, and then the assembly of the print through rolling. And I can go through those steps with you. The first thing we do is we take the transparency and we immerse it into laboratory immersion oil. We carefully remove it from its mount. Clean it. And then we take our glass, which has been pre-cleaned, and take a silver dollar size pool of oil on the glass. Take our transparency, gently put it on the oil, and put more oil on top. It has no effect, adverse effect on the transparency. And then put the second piece of glass on top. Center it. Squeeze the excess oil out. And now for the cleanup, which is a little messy. We have to clean the glass and tape it up. To clean the glass, we use Bon-Ami, and we do this 2 or 3 times to get all the excess oil off. Now for the final inspection. Okay, so now we have immersed the transparency in immersion oil, and we're placing it in the carrier to be put into the enlarger. We center it, tape it up, and make sure we go full frame, which is how Mr. Eggleston wants it printed. We then place a small grayscale in there. Okay, now we're ready to put it in the enlarger. Okay, so now we're ready to make the separation negatives. We take the carrier with the transparency, place it into the enlarger, and focus it. Turn our enlarger on. Cut out the lights. Focus the image. Perfect. So now we're ready to make the separation negatives. And of course the film is light sensitive, but I'm doing it in the light because there's no other way. And we punch the film and we place it on the vacuum easel without the white focusing sheet. Goes onto the easel. Okay, now we put the frame on, turn the vacuum on, and we're ready for the first exposure. So this is a pulsed xenon light source, very powerful, 5,000 degrees Kelvin, with no warm-up time, specially made bulbs. And here, do this. This is what the red filter looks like. Can you do that? Green filter. And the blue filter. Okay, we've exposed and processed these separation negatives in total darkness. Now we're going through the fix into the wash. We wash them for 10 minutes. Now we go into a photo flow solution. And we're in there for 30 seconds. Okay, now we dry them in the dryer. And there we are. We have all three in the dryer. Okay, now we dried the separation negatives. We've already made the masks, which have been used to make the separation negatives, the principal masks. And now we're going to read them on the densitometer to see that the grayscales are equalized. Read the grayscale, the shadow 0.55, the middle tone 1.05, and the highlight 1.28. Perfect. So now we're preparing to expose a set of matrices, Kodak matrix film, which is a blue sensitive material, last manufactured in 1992. And it's being exposed by Irene, and it will be exposed base up. It has a light restricting yellow dye, and the reason it's exposed through the base is that it needs to adhere to the polyethylene base. The matrix is being placed onto the easel. It's a vacuum register easel and will be rolled flat, and the vacuum pump will be turned on. There will be 3 exposures. Exposure 1 will be with the cyan separation negative, the long range highlight, and the shadow mask. Exposure 2 will be with the shadow mask removed. The shadow mask can be used anywhere from 0 to 40%. It controls the contrast range of the matrices. In exposure 3, the long range highlight will be removed and will be replaced with a specular highlight to control the characteristic curve in the upper portions of the image. And the matrix film will be placed into a box and is ready for development. So now we're going to process the matrix film. Lights out. Light. And the image is cleared. Now we're going into the first tray for the wash off. And you'll see that the gelatin in the non-image areas will be dissolved in the hot water. So the matrix, when it is exposed, the more exposure it receives, the denser the gelatin will be. So the density of the gelatin is proportional to the light it received. And it forms a very difficult to see relief image. So now we're going to roll a print, and we are going to filter these dyes is the first thing. And we start off with magenta. And we filter it with our Buchner funnel and Erlenmeyer flask. Okay, now we're going to assemble the print or make the print or roll the print. We're taking the magenta matrix out of the die and it is loaded up. It is in the die for approximately 10 minutes and it reaches equilibrium and will not absorb any more dye. And it's going to go into a first rinse which washes the dye off the non-image areas. It takes a minute, but you can go a minute and a half or 2 minutes to make the print lighter, but we start off with a standard process of 1 minute. And we have a couple of controls here, sodium acetate to lighten the print, highlight reducer to lighten the highlights slightly. And the medium that we roll in is 1% acetic acid. It's like a very mild vinegar, and it's what is used to make the print. Taking the matrix out and going into a second rinse, which is a holding bath. So after the positive matrix is rolled onto the paper, the dye transfers from the gelatine of the matrix to the gelatine of the paper. And that takes approximately 8 minutes for magenta, 6 minutes for cyan, and 3 minutes for yellow.
Print goes on a blotter, face down, and into the print dryer. This way the print doesn't come in contact with the canvas belt at any time. And the drum itself is stainless. And our print dryer is old, so I help it out. the print goes into a press for maybe about 10 minutes before we take a look at it. It's still slightly down.